If you got my recent shorts, you're going to know we're building Metagross and Trevenant today. In this video, we're going to bring it all together. We're going to do a full build time-lapse and a small lesson portion in the middle. I'll also be giving away 1,000 platinum somewhere in the video to celebrate our 1,000 subs. I'm going to do the call to arms nice and early in this video. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to get more dojo content. Alright, let's get it. Alright, so I usually have a pretty well-defined idea on the lesson I want to teach about a build before I get stuck into the build itself. This build is a little different because it's a sculpt and it's not really a skill that I'm well practiced at. I didn't have a well-defined lesson plan in mind. That being said, as I'm halfway through this sculpt, I have found something I want to show you. So one of the challenges in this particular sculpt is symmetry. You'll notice Metagross's arms are symmetrical on the left and right side, so that's a challenge in itself. Metagross also has 4 arms. Now, while they're not all in symmetrical locations, every single arm needs to be made identically. Now, one tool that I found that's really helped me pull this off is this white tenno trim. Now, the scaling range on this decoration is very handy. You can see with that halfway divider on there, we can measure things as small as a Warframe. And obviously, the higher end of scaling, we can measure things much larger. I'm going to take you through building just one panel on this Metagross arm, so you can see what I'm doing for the entire thing. But firstly, all the angles on this build are relative to each other. I'm getting the angle for this panel in relation to the base plate that the foot is on. So the first step is we're going to grab one of those tenno trims. We're going to put it on the base plate. We're then going to rotate it 90 degrees, offer it up to the decoration that we're trying to measure. You can then add your additional degrees on until it matches the angle of the panel you're trying to replicate. In this case, that's a 5-degree rotation. While we're here, we can also measure the length of this panel. Simply scale that tenno trim so it matches the length of that panel perfectly. From here, we take this measuring stick over to the new location, replicate the same angles, so it's an initial 90-degree rotation from the base plate, plus the extra 5 degrees. And then we can take that blue decoration that we're actually going to use for the sculpt and put it in its place. Now this panel is a trapezoid shape, so we also need to work out the angles on the slopes which are on the edges. Now to do that, we can take that initial tenno decoration that we measured the length with, and simply rotate it to find that angle. So in this instance, I know it's 8 degrees. We can then clone that over into the new location with the blue decorations. Now, on this very small panel, which I showed in the demonstration, I don't actually need to use this measuring technique. I can work out these angles pretty easily and transfer them over. However, I figured a smaller example might be easier to explain than where I actually need to use this technique. Now, the place I will actually need to do this is going to be on this next panel over. That's because for this next panel, I need to know the length of this entire piece and this initial angle from here. That's because this isn't a single decoration with one rotation. It's made up of multiple parts. We grab this decoration, bring it forward. You see this length is a combination of two decorations. And I needed to know exactly how long these are. As soon as I've got the full length, and then I can get the rest of these angles pretty easily by just joining up the dots. Now that's pretty much all the tuition done. Stick around to the end of the video and we'll do that 1000 platinum giveaway. We did hit 1000 subs, so you guys definitely deserve it. Alright, let's get back to the time lapse. So as we're drawing to a close here, let's give away this 1000 platinum. Now to enter, simply visit a featured dojo, comment the name of the dojo and a room that you like. In your comment, make sure you include the phrase hashtag Warframe Dojo. That's the phrase I'm going to search when selecting the winner. The winner will have 24 hours to respond. If I don't get a response in 24 hours, I will re-roll. And you have until Monday the 29th of September to enter. Best of luck, enjoy the room showcase, peace out, catch you in the next one.